Okay, we're back for another episode of the Book Lovers Book Haul. Today we went to 4 bookstores in New Jersey. The first store that we went to was a store we'd never been to before, and the books were very cheap. It was basically like a charity. They were just raising money. It's a regular bookstore, but they get free books and they raise money for the hospital. Again, this is in New Jersey. Then we went to 3 other bookstores after that. I bought books at the first store and 2 books at the last store. All the other ones here are pretty much from the first store. Paperbacks were 50 cents. Hardcovers were $2. If it was an oversized paperback, it was $1. So again, the prices were really good. You don't have to haggle too much in your mind about whether to get something or not get something at that price. You might as well just get it, so you don't go home and regret it afterwards. So I'll go over what I purchased today and then tell you where I got it from. This book I've been looking for a while. It's part of a trilogy. Well, an original trilogy. Then there were 6 more books written after that, all with some of the same characters. By Terry Johnston, who passed away, I don't know, 14, 15 years ago now. I think in the early 2000s he passed away, had cancer. So I used to actually have this book in paperback, and in a move many years ago, I had gotten rid of a lot of books, not thinking that one day I would, want them again. And so I was happy to find this because I didn't want to pay full price for it. 50 cents was a great deal. And a lot of times when I do see it, it's hard to find, but when I do see it, it's all bent up and out of shape and pages bent. And so this was a really good find. As a matter of fact, it was the first book I saw when I went into the store. So I was really shocked because I've been looking for it for a while. This book I actually bought not too long ago. This one I paid half price for. So it was maybe $2.50. I bought this at the last store we went to today. Mostly paperbacks, this store. This is in pretty good condition, and the other one I had is in perfect condition, so I wanted to have a reading copy and just save the other one because I'm crazy. So I bought the same book again, but it was cheap enough. Little Big Man, I have several with this cover. I like to collect different versions of it. Except for a little spot there at the top, the book is in really great shape. So I like to have, I like to get these when I see them, especially if they're in really good condition. I saw someone selling a copy on eBay for $95 that was beat up really bad. I mean, it looked like it just fell out of an airplane, it got run over by a truck, and then sunk with the Titanic. I mean, it was horrible, and this guy has the nerve to charge $95 for it. So when I see that, and this was 50 cents at that charity store, so great deal there. This book, Tough Trip Through Paradise, 1878 to 1879, by Andrew Garcia. Now, this is a pretty famous book, especially in Montana. I think even when you go to school in Montana, that this is a part of the curriculum to read this book. At least it used to be. I know that from talking to someone who lived in Montana while I lived in Montana for a while. The thing about this book is that, well, first of all, I have this book in hardcover, which is a real nice collectible. I have 2 of them, really great condition. One of them is immaculate, the other one's really good. And then I have this book in paperback already with this cover and another version of it that has images inside. This one doesn't. Oh, and then I have another vintage copy of this also, perhaps the first paperback edition of this book that I might have had in a video a few weeks ago. I'm pretty sure I did. So the thing about this book is that it was considered to be true history for a long time, and in the last decade, the authors, not the author, but the man who found the book, the manuscript, he had put it together. His son started to research it and found out that it wasn't really that accurate. A lot of the original papers, they were heavily edited and changed to make it into something that it really wasn't. For instance, Garcia was allegedly not that wonderful to his Nez Perce wife. I seem to recall reading, and in this book, it's a great love story. So the guy who edited it, Stein, it was his last name. He really tried to put together a story that would, be interesting and romantic and so forth. It is a great story. If you just read it just for the pure story as it's told, and just even consider it like fiction based on real people, it's really an amazing book. But it's true history. You have to be real careful with this book. You can find articles on it online by the guy's son. Just look up, Tough Trip Through Paradise. And this was, let's see, edited by Bennett Stein. So his son, I can't remember the son's name, but you can find an article, at least 2 of them, online about that book. It's a really great book. And hopefully, I had been in touch with the son. He was supposed to be working on a book about the making of this book and explaining what's missing from it and how it was changed and so forth, and nothing ever came of it. So I don't know. I emailed him again about it a year or 2 ago, and he's just I guess he has other things to do with his life. I don't know, but he was working on it at one time. Hopefully it comes out, because I'd really love to know more about that. It was a great story. I'd like to find out the true details. This book I also got at that charity store, The Last Stand, Edwin Hoyt. I put the Broadart jacket on it, clear jacket. This book didn't get the best reviews, but I like to collect different Custer novels, little Bighorn novels, and one day maybe I'll read them all and compare them and see which one I like best. Again, this one didn't get the best reviews, but it doesn't really mean anything. I'll judge it for myself if I ever get to read it. People look for different things, and some other Custer books I've read, novels, I'm usually not that happy with them, including some well-known famous ones that other people seem to love. I haven't thought was so good. So maybe this one that people didn't like, I might think is pretty good. Maybe it works in reverse. Here's another one. This was $2, like the other book. The River and the Horseman by Robert Skimmon. It was in excellent condition. Again, I put that clear jacket on it. Looks like it wasn't read. It's really nice. This one got a little bit better reviews, but still, people complain about various details. I'll judge it for myself again, and Skimmon's supposed to be a good author, so we'll see. And speaking of Skimmon, this book I didn't buy today, but I had found it just this last week. I had been looking for this for a long time, and jacket's just slightly bent up at the top there, but this was like $2 outside a bookstore in the city, in New York City. They were just giving it away, basically. So I saw it, and I grabbed it in great shape. Really nothing wrong with it on the inside. Just that jacket has that little crimp on the front. For $2, I'm not going to complain too much about that. So it was interesting that I found 2 Robert Skimmon books within a few days of each other. And this book also, I'm only showing the front cover here, but the back cover has a really nice color image of Sitting Bull, and of course the one on the front of Custer. So it's an attractive book, and hopefully it's good. Hopefully I get to read it. Selected writings, Frederick Remington. I have other books by Frederick Remington, his collected writings. I don't have this particular one, but I have another book that has various writings of his, and then I have one that's supposed to have everything that he ever wrote, in terms of published articles and books. And this was in great shape, so there's a little tear on the jacket you can't even see anymore because I cleaned it up, so that was a good deal. This book here, and that was $2 also. This book also, $2, Exploring the West by Herman J. Viola. I've wanted to get this book for a long time. Didn't want to get it for a high price on the internet, but I wanted to get a really good copy. And every time I see it in a store, it's always bent up and torn and whatnot. So they had it. I was really surprised. Great shape. I'm not even sure if it's been read. basically various explorers of the American West from Lewis and Clark onward. John Wesley Powell, I'm sure, is in there, and some others. This book here, The Western Art of Frederick Remington, this I paid half price for, so it was $3. I have a few books in the same series. Remington, this one. I have Russell, and boy, my mind is blank, but I have other ones. I have maybe 4 or 5 or even 6 of them of this particular series. And what was interesting about this, I wasn't going to buy it at first, and then I was skimming through it, and there were actually a few pictures in here that I had not seen in other books. Let me see if I could find one real quick. I don't want to waste time here with this, but let's see. They were like this one here. I don't recall seeing this in another book. Of course, I haven't been through every page of every Remington book I have, but this one, and there's a few others in here that just struck me as not being familiar. So that could be wrong. Maybe they're in other books I have, but I have flipped through them, and I don't recall ever seeing that one and a few others in there. So I wanted to get it. This here is called, and this one was $2. The Cowboy in Art. There was no dust jacket. It's written by Ed Ainsworth, and it's basically just all about the American cowboy in the Old West and art related to him. This book is from 1968, and there was quite a few mentions of Charlie Russell in here. There was some nice, a lot of pictures, some nice artwork that was in color. So this seemed like a really good deal, and for $2, here's a great out of focus. There's a great image there by Fred Harmon called Precious Waters. This one here is by William Ley. He has a very distinct style. So it had some nice artwork in here, and for $2, that seems like a really good buy to me. Golden West. This one also I got in the same place, the charity place, $2. I've been wanting to get this book for a while. I like just to have these kind of collections of Western art featuring different artists, Remington, Russell, Bingham, so usually a lot of the same guys, but I enjoy it, Bodmer. And I actually had seen this book about a week ago. It was $9, and the dust jacket was a little bit messed up. Even though this has a dust jacket, the same image is actually on the book. But the other copy I had seen was $9. The dust jacket was a little bit messed up, and I don't know. Even though I've wanted the book, I just held off, and I was just shocked when I saw it today. Immaculate, and it's just really great shape. So that was a great deal, $2 for that hardcover, very nice. So that's the latest book video. Future videos, I still want to go over various bookshelves in my collection and kind of just pull books off the shelf and go through some of what I have. I also want to do a video coming up, some of my favorite books. I could do, I think I'll do fiction, start with that, some of my favorite fiction novels that I've read over the years. Of course, there's a lot that I still have that I haven't read, so I'll need to do a follow-up eventually. I might even show some of what's on my reading list to come in the coming years that I hope to read and that I hope to review in the future. So that's it for this video. It was a great day. Had some good food, some ice cream. It's always fun going out with the family, and my son bought books. My wife got some books, and that's it. Take care. Bye.